Hello, everybody, and welcome to what's going to be a very exciting SkySwitch webinar geared for the SkySwitch reseller community. I'm Andy Abramson. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of SkySwitch. I've been hosting these webinars now for a few months, and today's webinar, which is all about the TeamMate connector and Microsoft Teams and how it integrates, not just works with, but how it integrates with the SkySwitch platform. We're going to be joined today by a very dear friend, a very close friend of SkySwitch's. Here's Micah Singer from TeamMate Technologies.
Andy, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. So today, after I guess that was about 7 months ago, talked to you about the vision for integrating SkySwitch's PBX into Microsoft Teams. So many of you know Microsoft Teams really well, your MSPs. Others of you know the PBX better and are ending up in meetings and are being asked to know Microsoft Teams. And there's a few reasons. First of all, it's free. This is something that comes with every Office 365 subscription. Persistent chat, the entry point for Teams is really important within organizations. Globally, about 50% of business users around the world buy Office. A lot of them have moved to the cloud version, Office 365 with Teams. Microsoft seems to have a unique set of features and products already that they've very nicely wrapped into Teams. So through February, there were about 2 million downloads of the Teams mobile application, and now that's up to about 10 million. I think that might have been through May numbers I found. COVID has accelerated it dramatically, but I think the trends we're seeing it's a nice lead into this next slide. The trends we're seeing in the market are that efficiency and ease of use of the standard business tools, which are chat, video calls, document sharings, meetings, calendars, and I would say strongly calling, are something that Microsoft Teams does really well.
What makes this so dramatically different than everything else Microsoft has tried to date?
I would say probably the single largest factor is end users like it. So users that end up using, I usually use this, 3 or more of the cornerstone, the foundational tools like you see on the screen, video, doc share, meetings, etc., tend to really like having that all in one place. And couple that with Microsoft having solved a lot of the problems for mobility on the mobile applications, both on Android and iOS. I think it's, before it was a lot of this was pushed out by corporations. It was a win for corporations. Now it's a win for users and corporations. But ultimately, it's got to be easy to use for the end user, because all of us in the technology industry have one perspective and our customers have another one. They want it to work smoothly, and making it really easy and intuitive is what Microsoft's done here. Just under 2 years ago, Microsoft announced this thing called Direct Routing, capital D, capital R, and what it is a defined and relatively easy way to build SIP trunk lines into Microsoft. And prior to that, there were workarounds. There was Skype for Business Cloud. There was a Cloud Communicator Edition. There were other ways of doing it that were much more difficult. And this direct routing was essentially opening up the calling capabilities in Teams to the PSTN, and that was a game changer. They made it easy. On the left is direct routing. This is what you get if you activate that direct routing tool that Microsoft has put out there. You use all native Teams dialing features, history menus, contacts for dialing, anything you would use to dial normally in Teams. At the end of it, you have a SIP trunk user in Teams. Many of you sell SIP trunks and have SIP trunk users. You know about this. On the right is what we're doing and what we're announcing today with SkySwitch. So of course we're using these native dialing features, but on top of it, we're allowing you to register the actual SIP user, the SkySwitch NetSapiens SIP user who is your customer. So it works just like a soft phone within Microsoft Teams. And finally, what we've done, I think that is really cool, and it's really unique in the market right now. You build and customize a Teams application for each Microsoft enterprise, your business customer. This is the PBX application. It's where notifications are presented. It's where you can tell the PBX what to do via quick codes or soft keys, and where the end user can see his or her portal. And I'll show you these in a few slides.
A lot of companies are out there talking integration with Teams, but it really sounds like they're making their platforms interoperable with Teams versus integrating it. You mentioned this morning, it's call to Teams. Can you explain the difference between the proper integration that we've done with TeamMate technologies and what this call to Teams thing is?
Yeah, and then it's good to mention them by name. So first of all, anyone selling SIP trunking is this first bullet point, the using native Teams dialing to make and receive PSTN calls. That's leveraging direct routing. What we've done, which takes it a big step further, is actually allow you to customize and insert into Teams a PBX application that the end user, the person who's actually using Teams, uses to look at their portal, probably most notably, but also get notifications when things happen on the PBX or they want the PBX to do things. So it's a direct line of communication, not just on a dial pad into the PBX.
So this is a complete user interface and a better, easier, more natural experience for the user.
So schematically, this is what it looks like. On the left, is your existing phone system. This is SkySwitch. It's that phone there represents one of your phone user, and that we don't touch that. All we do is we add a second appearance for that, a second device or endpoint for that same user, and we use this TeamMate connector to register and maintain and subscribe and make, it's essentially the soft phone firmware that registers to the PBX, and the TeamMate application is what communicates and what makes it a graphical user experience within Teams. This is the native dialer in Teams right here. You can dial PSTN numbers, you can dial extensions, you can dial star codes, you can do it all from here, and it all goes to the PBX. This is all things calling from your PBX, just like a soft phone, and it is indeed. The app we've installed here and that you install for each enterprise is, I've pinned it right here on the side. Here it is, and the three parts of that are first the bot that lets you see when things happen, like I get a voicemail or I turn on different features and get status updates, or if a live call comes in, I get a call card. The second portion of this is the end user portal. So this looks probably familiar to many of you. This is the NetSapiens portal that SkySwitch delivers. I have an unbranded version of it. I claim no credit for this portal. All we do is put it in here. This is all SkySwitch. And so you'll be able to put this portal in, or whatever portal you want to put in here. And then finally, the PBX feature management page, which is getting an overhaul before we go to GA. So the idea is this user never has to leave Teams for calling or PBX management, or hopefully anything related to their relationship with the NetSapiens you're providing.
How do you set this whole thing up? You're a reseller. How do I get it to work with my existing SkySwitch accounts?
First, you need to build direct routing, Microsoft to the PBX. Next, you add users. To do this, you enter the PBX info and link it to the Teams user. It's pretty much that simple. And finally, you build the application. And this is the application that every user with this connector in that enterprise has access to. As we move out of beta into GA and beyond, that's where a lot of the excitement is, what you can do in Teams with the PBX. So that's where we'll see a lot of expansion in the application over time.
What's the reseller model like? How do you make it work for them?
Through SkySwitch, you get access to the reseller portal, which lets you manage all of your business customers. So during setup, you generally are working with the global admin for your customer to get the direct routing built and the app built. And then afterwards, there's anything you can do with the PBX or feature codes or portals that doesn't require a Microsoft login, so you manage it here from the reseller portal. One of the hardest parts of beta is the first setup is always the hardest, because you're understanding all the parameters of the PBX that need to be put into the connector and understanding how to what needs to come from Microsoft and be put in. So But really, it's the onboarding is the training as well. What information you need and having it at the ready as you find that second, third, fourth enterprise customer is much easier. At the highest level, these four on the screen seem to be what compel companies to integrate calling into Teams. Let me just go through them. So mobile, Teams is a really good mobile and tablet app. They've really figured out push notification. That's no easy task. Second is we integrate with Microsoft. If you're looking to embrace Microsoft users, it's a really good offensive strategy to have something that lets them use Microsoft and use you. So if you're already selling Microsoft as an MSP, this is maybe a missing link. The premium user, some service providers see this kind of connector as part of maybe a premium user package, good way to get more dollars per user. And then finally, and I do distinguish this from the others, the remote worker. So in COVID's world, supporting remote workers is much more important all of a sudden. Look, most of these workers aren't on mobiles and on the go. They're sitting at home on their laptops or their PCs, and they didn't bring their phone with them from the office. So this is a soft phone, and it's still in Teams, and it's still where they're doing all their other work. So it's perfect as part of a remote package. When we started building this, I didn't think it would be in such demand, and I thought it was a good idea. But this is important. It's an important crossover in business systems. If you start selling integration with Teams, I said it early in the presentation, I can't say it enough times, that you're tapping into a huge Microsoft user base for leads, and you have something to talk to them about.
Micah, great job, Fareed. And as always, Emily, we had a great time today. It was wonderful having you all with us. On behalf of TeamMate Technology and all of SkySwitch, have a great day, and thank you for listening in.